Absolutely none.
People wonder where Mark Fidrich's life and career of baseball is. It's right in here, folks.
Baseball was definitely packed away. But back in Detroit, fans hadn't forgotten what the bird meant to them. And for Ann and Jessica, occasional trips back to the Motor City showed them just how big a star he'd once been.
It really never dawned on me of how significant he was until we're sitting in the stands and everybody's coming up to us and I'm like, Mom, what are we doing? Like, what's going on? Mark, let me buy you over here. Mark. I'm like, Dad, what is going on?
There was this mob of fans that just kind of descended on him.
And everyone's grabbing at him.
So we're like down on the ground. How do we get out of here?
That was my moment of, wow.
The morning of April 13th, 2009, the Fidriches opened Chet's at 5:30 a.m. as usual.
My sister and I decided that we were going to Chet's Diner to have breakfast. So we went, and Mark was our waiter.
After breakfast, Mark Fidrich returned to his farm and climbed under his truck to make some repairs.
Bad day.
I knew something was wrong. And I didn't know what it was. It's like this feeling came over my whole body.
Alone on the farm, with no one around to help, Fidrich's clothes became entangled in the drive shaft of the truck he was working on. A friend found his body hours later.
My manager at work came and got me, and she was like, Jess, something happened. I said, I already knew something happened. Like, I didn't have a clue what it was. I knew something really bad.
An autopsy later revealed that Mark Fidrich had suffocated.
It was just like, no way. We were just with him. No way. It couldn't happen.
For a man who loved life, for it to be taken away, that was painful. And
it was surreal because of the fact that, like, this is my dad, and all these other people in the world are freaking out too.
Former baseball player Mark "the Bird" Fidrich has died.
Apparently in an accident while working on his own truck. Mark Fidrich was just 54.
My first thought was, the good die young. It's, thinking this day, it's sort of sad for me.
I mean, it was like somebody hits you with a sledgehammer. You couldn't believe it, you know.
Mark, a type of person that make you never complain and just be thankful. And today I can talk about Bird all day. That's the memory he gave me, and that's what I shared it with his family when I went to the funeral.
Willie Horton comes to my dad's funeral and starts talking about him, and I'm like, oh my God, this man, my father, had just as much of an impact on me as he did him. They were best friends. And even though that was 30 years ago, it doesn't matter.
The wake, it went for like 7 or 8 hours.
There was a line for almost a mile. And I was looking ahead in the line and behind me in the line, and it was like my whole life in front of me. It was pretty incredible, really, to see the outpouring for this fine guy, you know.
Makes me sad to think about it, because he was so awesome. Sorry.
A little more than 2 months after Fidrich's death, the Tigers paid their own tribute, and as part of the ceremony, they invited Ann and Jessica to throw out the first pitch.
I remember practicing and saying, I'm gonna show my dad that I can do this.
She practiced and practiced and practiced, and you know what, I'll tell you, she looks just like her father when she pitches the ball. That's the crazy part. The long legs, the whole stance. I'm there, oh my God, this is unbelievable. Look at this.
It was so scary, and it was, I really don't want to ever do it again. That's how scary it was.
I've never been asked to catch too many first pitches, but that was an honor.
I got to do something that he did, that he really loved.
If the legend of the Bird's exploits on the diamond will never be forgotten in Detroit, back in Northborough, it's his spirit they still talk about.
The guy's nephew had leukemia, and he said, yeah, can you sign an autograph for Mark? And Mark says, no. Where is he? He's in a hospital in Worcester. He went and put his full uniform on, went up there and gave him an autographed baseball, shook his hand. That's the way he was. It's just unbelievable.
What we've continued is that legacy of him helping others, specifically kids with special needs. So we're real proud of that. And
so we started the
Mark Fidrich Foundation.
Mark Fidrich. I live in Northborough, Massachusetts, and I'm a pitcher.
Mark the Bird Fidrich was in a lot of ways the first of his kind. A small-town kid who became a cultural sensation overnight with a rise that far transcended his sport.
I've never seen anything like it in my life. He was probably the most popular player in Tiger history for those couple years.
What can I ask? I couldn't ask for no much more.
But the Bird was also the last of a kind, too. A star who came before big money and big media changed the landscape forever.
Do you think it's going to be tough to stay the way you are?
I don't know. Well, we'll find that out in the future. But right now, I feel like I'm still the same person.
Whatever happened to him never affected him at all. Didn't change a lick. I think everybody should be envious of that.
It's more rewarding now that people still remember me. That's what's beautiful to me right now.
Who would have thought that a pitcher with just 29 big league wins would still be remembered after all these years? Then again, who could have imagined a character like Mark Fidrich ever walking onto a mound?
I have never in my life ever seen anything equal this. This kid is terrific.
Once upon a time, on a Monday night in June long ago, a phenomenon was born. And if you talk to the folks who were there, you'll discover what it meant is still as alive as ever.
Oh my God, the outpouring of emotion. I mean, that's like what sports is all about. The moment that they had with this guy and the way that this region connected in that moment and needed it so bad, it was magical.
You can't find verbiage for some things in life. And what took place with him, it was wonderful.
Oh, this is unbelievable. He loves him. Look at that.
How do you find the words for something that was so exciting?